As we mentioned at the top of the newscast, the 2020 Jazz Fest lineup is out, and we want to take a closer look at it with our Jazz Fest expert, Keith Spira, the music writer for the Times-Picayune New Orleans Advocate. Keith, thanks so much for joining us, and I know you have to be excited about this news coming out today.
You know, like a lot of other music fans, this is basically Christmas in January to see this list. You know, it's always a big reveal. You kind of have some hints as to who it's going to be, but nothing is real until they actually put out the list today, and you can kind of peruse it and see who's on what day and start planning out your time at the festival. Yeah, what was your first thought when you looked at it? Any big surprises there? You know, not so much surprises as it was just the bigness of the list overall. You know, the festival always tries to balance old and new. You know, they have a certain fan base that likes to see sort of the classic rock acts, and they've certainly got some of those, but they also want to keep the audience fresh, so they've certainly got a couple of very, very contemporary artists out there as well. So it seems like it's a good balance this year between that old and new. All right, well, let's talk about some of the big ones we know people will be excited for. The Who. The Who, they played here in 2015 at the festival. Unfortunately, that day I had to cover somebody else. Everyone I talked to loved The Who out there, so I will not miss them again this time. I mean, this is the band's 51st or 55th year, I think, that they've been around, and Roger Daltrey and Pete Townshend still going strong. So wow. That is definitely going to be one I'll see this year. That's going to be big. And then Dead and Company. Another good band. It's three of the surviving members of the Grateful Dead, along with John Mayer on guitar. So that band itself is kind of a synthesis of old and new. They played here in February 2019 over at the Smoothie King Center, sold it out. George Porter Jr., the local bass player, got up on stage and played with them. So there are a lot of local connections for that band. So I would expect to see some of those locals get up and collaborate with Dead and Company out there on that Saturday at Jazz Fest. So cool. I love John Mayer. I'll have to check them out. And then I would say the Woman of the Year, Lizzo. Man, literally the Woman of the Year. Time Magazine named her the Entertainer of the Year for 2019. She's got more Grammy nominations than anybody. And when I was speaking of those contemporary artists, there's nobody bigger right now than Lizzo. She played at the Fillmore, did 2 sold-out nights last year, but now she's coming back even stronger. And you know, as of right now, I hadn't checked this morning, but she'd only announced a couple of dates for this year. One was at the Bonnaroo Festival, and now one's at Jazz Fest. That's quite a coup for Jazz Fest to have her out there. And I believe she's on the, second Saturday, I think? I have to double check, but it's going to be a big day when she's out there for sure. Oh, that is going to be huge. We're so excited to have her back in New Orleans. As you said, you already saw her here once. And then we got to talk about all of our amazing locals. I saw PJ Morton on the lineup, Big Frida, Tank and the Bangas, and of course, they'll be heading to the Grammys very soon. Yeah, Tank and the Bangas is nominated alongside Lizzo for Best New Artist. So they'll be out there. The Revivalists have stepped up as a headliner of local stages, of one of the big stages. Trombone Shorty, of course, always has a prominent spot out there on the last day. So yeah, you've got a lot of these local artists that have stepped up as headliners. And really, that's the heart and soul of this festival, is all the local stuff. And you know, everyone talks about the big names, the big artists. They get a lot of attention. But what sets Jazz Fest apart from all these other festivals around the country is that you have so much local music that you can't see anywhere else. And you know, that's true again this year. And again, talking about the history, you're going to see several tributes to some of the artists we lost over the past year. I know there's a Dirty Dozen is paying tribute to Dave Bartholomew, the great producer of Fats Domino songs. Elvis Costello is going to be on that tribute, John Cleary, some other folks. So you're going to see a lot of that. You know, the festival is very good about acknowledging those that have gone before. And even this year's festival poster has got a really nice image of Dr. John on it, who passed away last year, of course. So, yeah, so again, looking back, looking forward, that seems to be the balance that the festival's going for this year. Beautiful. It should be special. Thank you so much, Keith Spira, for joining us for that breakdown. You guys can read more about the Jazz Fest lineup and Keith's thoughts on it on NOLA.com or in the Times-Picayune New Orleans Advocate. Peyton?